Welcome back to Reflections of a Diva. We have been joined by Miss Roz Lewis. She's the Executive Director of the Georgia Women's Business Council. Welcome, Roz.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Exactly. We're blessed to have you here.
Can you tell us what the Georgia Women's Business Council is and what it can do for women business owners?
The Georgia Women's Business Council is a third-party certifying agency here in the state of Georgia for the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. Now, I know that's a mouthful, so we are going to use the acronyms GWBC and D.I.V.A. And what we do is we certify women-owned businesses for major corporations such as the Coca-Cola Company, UPS, Delta Airlines, Georgia Power, because they all have spin goals to do business with small, minority, and women-owned businesses.
Okay. So what does it mean to be a certified woman-owned business? Do you have to own a certain percentage of the company as a woman, or does it have to be wholly owned by a female?
You actually can, you know, be 100% woman-owned, or if you do have partners, you must be at least 51% owned, operated, and controlled by the woman or women, so long as it makes up that 51%.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, what's the relationship between the GWBC and D.I.V.A?
GWBC is a regional partner organization of D.I.V.A. There are actually 12 other partner organizations throughout the U.S. because the certification for D.I.V.A is national for that women-owned business, where over 700 major corporations accept the D.I.V.A certification. So once you're certified here in Georgia and you have an opportunity in Seattle or in California, if that's where that corporation's headquartered, as long as they recognize the D.I.V.A standard, they accept that certification.
Wow.
So tell us about the certification process. What's involved? How long does it take? Is there a fee involved?
Yes, the certification process is about 60 to 90 days. And I'm going to start out and say it can be daunting because we ask for a lot of information. We're asking for birth certificates. We want to make sure you're a U.S. citizen or alien residence. You can have an alien residence card. We look at your financials, and keep in mind we're not the IRS, but we're looking for other things in your financials, and it has to be at least 3 years. So even if you've just started your business, we're going to ask for 3 years of your personal tax returns. The process is reviewed by a certification committee that comprises of major corporations and other WBEs. However, keep in mind, you will not be reviewed by a competitor. There is a 100% site visit that is conducted where we come to your place of business, and if that is a traditional space, commercial space, or even home business, we are going to come visit you. We're going to go through some more questions because we just want to verify the information that you have submitted to us. That information is then taken back, believe it or not, to committee to say, I recommend to certify this woman-owned business. And recertification is every year.
So let's take someone like Rhonda with her woman-owned business. If she were to get certified, what would be available to her from the Georgia Women's Business Council? Would she have corporate access to your corporate members?
Actually, yes, and I'm glad you mentioned Rhonda is already on her way, you know, given the fact of the customers, you know, that she currently has. But the one thing D.I.V.A provides, and here with GWBC, is a networking environment. We're going to provide you networking opportunities to meet with these major corporate representatives, or I will say even other women-owned businesses. We highly encourage that you also seek out other women-owned businesses. We've currently certified over 500 women-owned businesses here in the state of Georgia. And their revenues are from startup up to $500 million in spend. So you can imagine, you know, the size of these businesses where they may need your product or service, or you joint venture with them. So we highly advocate that particular type of networking.
So they support one another.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Now, you mentioned educational services. What type of services do you have available for women who are certified?
The education services that we have are lunch and learns that we have monthly. Although this year we're adjusting our schedule because we have a national conference coming in June. But during those lunch and learns, this gives you an opportunity to learn about IT, you know, technology, which is very key today, you know, with business. Rhonda spoke of paying it forward, which is net weaving, which was really good, you know, of building that relationship to hopefully in turn that becomes a contract. We're going to also do cash flow, because that's always an issue, you know, for most businesses, whether they're starting or they're going to that next level. We also provide scholarships. We provide scholarships to what's called the Fast Track program, which that is literally sponsored by the Kauffman Foundation. And then at a higher level, once you grow your business, we have opportunities for you to attend TUC, several other universities, Kellogg, to grow your business. And that is a very aggressive business week that you're in with other women-owned businesses from around the country. And it is amazing what our women-owned businesses have come back that they've been able to implement to help grow their business.
That's wonderful. Well, how many corporate members do you have?
Well, right now we have 25 corporate members, and as I named, you know, a few of them, and some of those corporate members have been with GWBC since its inception in 2000. We're 8 years old now, and we're looking to continue to grow. We just recently brought on board the private bank, and the private bank target audience is small business. So there we're looking at creating those synergies to help our businesses grow financially, because everyone can use funds to grow their business.
Well, what's in it for the corporate members? What do they have to gain from partnering with the GWBC?
Well, we have a slogan. It's called Join the Wave. Women adding value every day. And although my title is executive director, I'm actually a professional beggar. I really go out.
We know that feeling.
You know, I really go out to advocate on behalf of women-owned businesses and not sell them as suppliers, but as consumers. Because if the major corporation has a product or service, women, and not only just women, but women-owned businesses are worth a large amount of revenue to that customer. Corporations also have what spin goals to do business with small, minority, and women-owned businesses. So we are a portal with a database of which they can access to identify those competitive women-owned businesses. I don't use the word qualified. I always use that they are going to be competitive on that bid, and they are going to be able to exceed your expectations.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's awesome.
So how do you reach out to the women and the corporations to get them involved?
We have events like Business After Hours. We also have one especially for our women-owned businesses, which is Breakfast and Answers. And this is an opportunity for you to come and learn more about the organization on a regional level as well as a national level, and also get answers. As I mentioned before, the application process could be somewhat, you know, taxing, so it answers those questions. We're not allowed to coach you through the application process, because the goal is to always maintain the integrity of that. But overall, what we want to do is that you walk away with an understanding of the value proposition of joining our organization. We also have, as I mentioned, upcoming is our national conference. It's going to be hosted here in Atlanta. And we're very excited about that.
When and where?
It's going to be June 23rd through the 26th at the Georgia World Congress Center.
Wonderful.
So I'm going to say, please go to a website of www.webank.org, and that's where you're going to learn more about the conference, learn more about registration and learn about our keynote speakers.
Wonderful. And is that also the website for GWBC, or do you have a separate website?
I have a separate website for GWBC. The website for GWBC is www.gwbc.biz.
Okay. And Rhonda, won't you give us your information as well?
Okay. For thank you, ladies.
Wonder Twin.
For Let's Talk, www.letstalkllc.com, and the event planning company is LT for Let's Talk Productions with an S, LLC.com.